My name is Jacob Heppner, and I'm from the greatest state of the Union, Kansas. Going into my senior year of college, and I had an internship up here at Fort Leavenworth for the DOD as a DOD civilian. I was working for the Army. And one of the guys, one of the Green Seers, an active duty guy, Major Craig at the time, was like, hey, you should come do this thing called CrossFit. And I was like, first of all, that's a pretty terrible name. I was like, I don't even know what that is. He's like, oh no, it'll be fun, like you'll totally enjoy it. And I said, okay, sounds good, he's a good dude, so I just agreed to it. Probably a bad idea. And I agreed before I got the information of what time. And I go, okay, what time is it? He's like, oh, it's tomorrow at 5 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll be there. Showed up, wasn't really told what I was doing, how, and that was for time. Didn't understand all these things. All I remember is we did a workout that had toes to the bar and rowing, and I was getting yelled at to go faster. Couldn't touch my toes to the bar. Didn't know what the rowing machine was. Anyways, got done with the workout. Had no idea what went on. Just like, this is a blur. And a guy pulls me aside and goes, hey, you should go research the CrossFit Games. He's like, I think you'd be really good at this. And I'm like, good at what? Like, what did we just do? So I went and researched it and quickly realized that it was a sport across borders, international. There was fans, there was spectators, there was a competition. You know, at the time I was doing college football, and to be honest, I was terrible at it, but I was always in really good shape and really a hardworking guy, and realized, man, this is a sport. Like, it requires not as much athleticism and genetics as it is like you gotta work hard and be able to grind for it. And that was kind of the genesis story of it. I called up my best friend at the time. I was like, I'm gonna compete in this and I'm going to the games. I mean, I'd found it for like 2 weeks, right? And at the time, that is my now wife. At the time, she's probably like, I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds like a cult, right? I don't know what you're doing here, Jacob. But then fast forward, I finished up my senior year of football, dove in. I still went back and actually worked a full-time job at Fort Leavenworth and still had access to the CrossFit gym on the Army installation, full-time. I mean, just like, I was still working 40-hour-a-week job, so I was in the gym at 5 in the morning till about 7. Then I'd go work from 7 till 11, then go on my lunch break, go back to the gym, get done, go back to the gym after work, and that was just, I had no life, pretty much. But I knew that that's what I wanted to do, is I wanted to compete at the stage of the CrossFit Games. And so went to my first regionals in 2013 and got 18th at regionals that year, and that does not qualify me for the games at that point. Took all I learned from regionals there, what was I terrible at, what was I good at, and kind of figured out a plan to attack to go back to the regionals in 2014. Got second in the regionals, therefore qualifying me to go back to the games, and then took 18th at the games that year out of 40 in 2014. That was my rookie year. Looking back on my CrossFit career, I never podiumed. You know, always, the goal is always to win or to podium. I'm a pretty realistic individual because of my background in math. Like, I can approach it and say, logically, and say, hey, I'm gonna do my best. I'm probably not gonna win this thing. Sometimes when you approach a sport like that, you think, okay, well, if I'm not gonna win the thing, how can I set myself apart in this space for success now and later? And so one thing I really did, I think, very well when I was competing, and I still do this today, is to really show realness and rawness on social media. So in 2017, I unfortunately wasn't able to go to the games because of a knee injury. And I was like, okay, well, I've got a lot of free time on my hands, obviously, and I'm very fit. I should find something to do. I grew up with firearms. My father obviously introduced me at an early age. So I was like, oh, I should start shooting. Like, that sounds fun. And for some reason, I decided one day, I don't even know why, I decided to I think it was like skiing and shoot a pistol, very similar to a biathlon, and quickly realized, wow, that is a whole different ball game. Like, number one, I can't hit crap. I could hit crap when I wasn't skiing, but I was like, man, when I spiked my heart rate, wasn't getting anywhere near the target. And so quickly decided, man, I should work out and shoot more. Like, that sounds kind of fun. And I'm already good at fitness, and I should involve the fire. I have a basic knowledge, but I should shoot more. And so kind of delved into that and started doing weekly workouts where I would just grab a gun and do a workout, whether it was wall balls, or I would incorporate a lot of CrossFit, right? Something you probably wouldn't see as much in the tactical games now, but a lot of CrossFit movements. Quickly started a hashtag fitness and firearms and did that every week. Like on a Thursday, would work out and shoot and really enjoyed it. The tactical games, I think, started in, 2018 or 2019. And I kept getting people telling me, hey, you should do this. Like, you're already doing this, you should try this. And so decided when I was done competing that this was the next competitive thing I wanted to be involved in. I already had half of it in my back pocket. I already got the fitness, but now it's the firearms. That was the part for me that was the long pole in the tent. What I really liked about CrossFit was the community, was the fact that I could travel anywhere in the world and find someone that I could connect with because of the sport we do. And so when I got involved in the tactical games, before I started competing, I realized the community was very similar to CrossFit. And so there was a lot of carryover from that, and I just thoroughly enjoyed the community, and the people were really willing to help out. Now I've got to shoot, I've got to know how to manipulate my firearm, and so there's a lot of things that I needed to learn, and the guys in the sport were more than willing to help out a guy that's gonna compete with them. And you see the same thing in CrossFit, and that's why I like that sport in the first place, and so the carryover, which is perfect. Goals for tactical games. Goal would be to win the thing. I don't think it's gonna happen this year, I'm gonna be a realist. Like, it's not probably, we got some good guys that I have a lot of catching up to do in terms of firearms, but I think if you give me a year of focusing on this after boxing, I think we'll win the thing. CrossFit has a community, tactical games has a community, so why don't we have a community here that we can bring people in and learn, have a good time. We got asked to do an undercard fight for Eddie Hall and Heppner. So I'm the undercard for them with Bridges. Bridges is obviously a household name in the CrossFit industry. Seal, great dude, awesome guy, love him to death. And so they asked me, and they always know that I'm usually down to learn something new and try something for fun. Nothing carries over. I remember the coach being like, do you think you're in shape? And the question was obvious, like he knows who I am. He knows I think I'm in shape, right? And so I'm like, yeah, of course I'm in shape, what do you mean? And he's like, not in this kind of shape, man, you're not. And he was on point, he hit the nail on the head for that. I mean, I've always enjoyed, I've done YouTube series with companies trying different sports and trying different things, and I've always enjoyed the aspect of stepping outside your comfort zone and doing things like shooting or doing things like boxing, or it's healthy to get in here. Like it's my brand, and I enjoy bringing people in and working out with them, and it's allowed me to do different sports like the tactical games and be somewhat successful in them, so. But then the idea of the barn is like, hold camps, bring people in, have a good time. That's the long-term goal.